Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is my very first YouTube video. I am a completely self-taught artist. I've been drawing since I was able to hold a pencil. I am so excited to begin sharing my art, my process, and my thoughts with you. Today I want to talk about one of the most essential concepts in art, drawing what you see. It's something every artist hears, but it's also one of the most misunderstood ideas. What does it really mean to draw what you see? And how can understanding this concept elevate your artwork to a new level? This is the foundation of everything I've learned, and by the end of this video, I hope to not only explain it, but also inspire you to pick up your pencil with fresh eyes and a deeper understanding of the world around you. So what does draw what you see really mean? When people say draw what you see, they often think it's as simple as looking at a reference and copying it. But it's so much more than that. It's about peeling back the layers of how you perceive the world. Our minds are wired to simplify, to turn complex objects into symbols. A nose becomes a triangle, an eye becomes an almond, a mouth becomes two curved lines. This is helpful when we're trying to communicate quickly, but in art it becomes a trap. These symbols are shortcuts, and they strip away the magic of what's truly there. To draw what you see, you must unlearn these shortcuts. You must teach yourself to see shapes, edges, tones, and relationships not as objects, but as abstract pieces of a puzzle. Drawing is not just about replicating reality. It's about understanding it, dissecting it, and reassembling it through our own hands. Let's start with light and shadow. Everything we see is a result of light falling on surfaces. It reveals textures, curves, and edges. To truly draw what you see, you need to learn how to observe this interplay with precision and sensitivity. Take a moment to study a face, for example. Notice how light grazes the top of the cheekbone, how shadows pool under the lips, and how even the smallest detail, like the crease in an eyelid, creates a story of depth and dimension. Light isn't just light, and shadows aren't just shadows. They are gradients, soft hints of tone that shape the very essence of what we perceive. When I draw, I focus deeply on these transitions. I study how the light melts into shadow, how textures like skin reveal tiny details, pores, fine hairs, the softness of a smile line. These are the moments that make a drawing come alive, and they are the moments that demand your patience and your presence. One of the most valuable tools I use to train my eye and ensure accuracy is the grid method. The grid method is not about shortcuts. It's about structure, balance, and precision. When we look at a complex reference, like a portrait, it can be overwhelming to capture all the intricate relationships between features. The grid allows us to break the image into manageable sections. Each square becomes its own world, a tiny canvas within the larger whole. It's like piecing together a mosaic, one fragment at a time. As I draw, I focus entirely on what exists within that one square. It helps me detach from the idea of a nose or an eye, and instead see abstract shapes and lines, how they curve, how they interact, and how they sit in space. By the time I've worked through the entire grid, the drawing has come together with a level of accuracy and realism that wouldn't have been possible otherwise. I encourage you to try this technique, especially if you struggle with proportions or capturing likeness. It's not a crutch, it's a tool that can refine the way you see and interpret the world. Another aspect of drawing what you see is understanding relationships, not just between features, but between spaces. Where does the bottom of the nose align with the corners of the mouth? How does the curve of an eyebrow sit above the line of the eyelid beneath it? And then there's negative space, an often overlooked important factor. Negative space is everything around the subject, the empty pockets of air that cradle the form. These spaces hold the key to balance and proportion. For example, the space between two fingers can tell you so much about placement and structure. Learning to observe these gaps can transform the way you approach your work. Drawing is not just about the subject, it's about the relationships that bring the subject to life. Drawing what you see is as much about mindset as it is about skill. It requires patience, not just with your pencil, but with yourself. There will be days when nothing feels right, when every line feels off, and the page seems to fight you. That's okay. Those are the days that you're growing. When I was starting out, I used to get so frustrated when my drawings didn't look the way I wanted them to. But over time, I learned that every mistake was a step forward. Each failed attempt taught me something new about how to see, how to observe, how to connect. Drawing is not a destination, it's a journey. It's a conversation between your hand and your eye. Give yourself permission to slow down. Spend time with your reference. Look at it as if you're seeing it for the first time. Its details, its nuances, and its hidden beauty. Drawing what you see is about more than just art. It's about learning to see the world with curiosity and wonder. It's about noticing the way light reflects on a surface. The subtle imperfections that make something beautiful, the tiny moments that are so easy to overlook. As you draw, remember, you're not just creating an image, you're creating a connection between you and your subject, between the abstract and the real. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. If you found this helpful or inspiring, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Leave any video suggestions for what you'd like to see from me in the future. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out my website. My prints and originals are all available.